Welcome to the Fruitful Faith Women on Mission podcast. This podcast is created for purpose-driven women just like you who crave more. On the Fruitful Faith podcast, you can expect Christ-centered conversations that will help you to cultivate a life that you and He love. We'll be talking about topics that matter, topics that impact your everyday life. We'll talk about anything from how to transition with grace, to what to do when you're overwhelmed, to how to be content and joyful right where God's got you. It's going to be good. Let's dive on in. Hey, and welcome back to the Fruitful Faith Women on Mission podcast. I'm Alexandra Cavill. I'm a certified professional life coach and founder of Grace-Based Christian Coaching. I work with women who are feeling scattered and overwhelmed, and they're looking to lead a more Christ-centered, prioritized, and intentional life. So if that sounds anything like you, you are in the right place. So today, as we are in season 2 of the podcast, the Breakthrough series, we've got a fun episode in store, and we're going to be talking specifically about how to leverage your strengths to overcome obstacles. So here's what we're going to be kind of diving into today. So, here's the question is what if what you're good at helped you to break through your biggest challenges? Yes. So thinking about for a moment, what if we thought about our strengths as a tool to overcome the tough stuff? So I'm so excited today as we're going to be talking all about how you can use your God-given strengths and how they just might be your secret weapon, if you will, for overcoming challenges. Okay, so let's get started and dig in. So as per usual, we're going to walk through a couple of powerful coaching questions to kind of process this topic. So if you don't already have a pen and paper with you, you might want to grab that or just pop out the notes app on your phone as we kind of work through this good content today. So the first thought, guys, is the question is, how aware are you of your strengths? So are your strengths something that you think about? Are they something that you thank God for? How aware are you of your strengths and how are you demonstrating them? Or maybe not, and that's something to be aware of. So the next thought here is, how often do you consciously use your strengths? So are you intentional about stewarding the things that God has gifted you with that come easy or natural? Maybe let's say you have the gift of leadership. So think about that for a second. If that's you, how are you using it? Is it in your workplace? Perhaps you are in a leadership role within an organization in your community, or maybe that's a gift, but perhaps right now you're feeling convicted to find something where you can serve and give back using that gift. Or maybe you have the gift of hospitality. What a beautiful gift. Maybe just caring and loving people well comes naturally for you, and it's so joy-filled for you. And so maybe it's thinking, are you caring for people in your home? Or what does that look like for you? So the first step, how aware are you of your strengths and are you consciously using them? So maybe you're like, oh my gosh, I don't even know. What am I good at? And my heart goes out to you if you're in that place. I definitely was there at one point and had a very difficult time articulating what my strengths even were. Maybe you're disconnected from them. You have no idea, and it feels really uncomfortable to think about that. Just want to offer the encouragement that that's okay, and there's hope, there's possibility. We'll get into that in a moment. But it reminds me of one time about a year ago, perhaps, was in a Bible study, and the leader had us go around the group and say what it is that we do really well. And y'all, that was hard. That was uncomfortable for so many, perhaps it felt like virtually all of the women, to identify that thing and then to share it aloud with the group. So if thinking about your strengths is hard for you, just know that's normal to a certain extent, but it doesn't have to be that way. It can be something that you recognize and celebrate and use in hard situations like what we're going to talk about today. Okay, so if you're in the camp where you're not quite sure what your giftings are, or you want to just get even more curious about thinking through how to use them well, here are a couple of thoughts for you. So the first question is to consider, what is it that you do really well? What comes easy for you? Maybe it's organizing. Maybe you are totally in a flow state when you're organizing. Or maybe it's encouragement, just words of affirmation and exhortation just fall off of your tongue, and it's just so easy to speak life into others. Or maybe you're a natural born teacher. Walking someone through how to do something perhaps is fun and easy and life giving for you. So those are a couple of thoughts. What do you do really well? And then if you want a little more specificity, an idea for you here is to take a spiritual gifts test. So there are a few different options out there. You can look it up and Google it. And there are lots of reports that will give you, and they're really powerful with the giftings test you from a faith-based perspective in that it gives you scripture that aligns with the giftings that you can dig into. It gives you ideas of how to operate in these giftings, especially within your community and local church. And so, if that's something you want to consider, one that I will actually use with my clients, depending on which of the programs that are in, is called the Uniquely You assessment. So, something to think about if you haven't taken one already. Another question is to help you identify your strengths is what are you known for? So think about, I love this question I've heard from someone is what's duh to you that's mind blowing to other people. So what do other people come to you for? What do they know you for? Is it certain advice, pieces of advice? Maybe you are the relationship question guru of your group. Maybe when anyone has a financial question, they know you are the person to call. So think about that. What are you known for? Okay, so as we kind of get back to strengths and how we can use strengths to overcome challenges, what I'd invite you to do is to consider what is your biggest challenge right now. We really want to pinpoint it and shed light on it so that we can be able to help you begin to work through it. So let's say, for the sake of an example, maybe your challenge is taking the risk to invest in yourself. So, no matter what your challenge is, think for a moment if you pursue that challenge, what do you have to gain? What might be on the other side of it? So, think about that and kind of get excited about the possibility instead of just what's scary or uncomfortable about that big thing. And then you might also want to consider what is your biggest fear as you step forward to say yes? Because, like we had just spoken about, sometimes shedding light on something or speaking it aloud or writing it down, it actually becomes less scary and more easily approachable. So just identify that too. What's your biggest fear? And maybe it's not quite as scary as you think it is. But the thought here is to really focus on faith, focus on possibility over fear. So you might even want to think about how might demonstrating courage in this situation to work towards this challenge, how might demonstrating courage draw you closer to God? What fruit is there in that process for you and your relationship with the Lord? Might this benefit your community even, or the people that you're surrounded with as you pursue and are bold with working through this challenge? And then you might want to think about how might your specific strengths serve you as you walk through this challenge. So, like we said with the example, what if your challenge is taking a risk to invest in yourself? So, maybe you want to think about how your ability to think ahead, think proactively, maybe that's going to support you in being prepared to address different outcomes. Or maybe you have the gift of discernment, and maybe that's going to help you to focus on what step to take first. So go back to those giftings and think about what you've identified as your strengths. Think about how they might be able to actually serve you in this challenge and be a tool in your tool belt, if you will. What I want to call out here, friend, is that you are more equipped than you realize. And the cool thing here too is it's not God has equipped you. We are equipped because of the strength that He's given us, but He is the ultimate equipper, right? So it's not even dependent on us, it's dependent on Him. So, kind of with that in mind, and you might want to think about how can you draw on the Lord in this challenging situation? How can you draw on the Lord and go to Him? What would that look like? Maybe it's prayer, maybe it's worship. What would connect to you in the most powerful way right now? And then the other question to maybe pose is like, what if your faith is your strength here? Again, It's about God. It's not about us. God has given you everything you need or will need along the way as you work through this challenge. And you can rest in Him and His strength and operate through that. So let that strengthen you. One of my favorite quotes that I'll share with clients that so many of them love too is He is in God. God equips the called, right? He equips the called really than rather calling the equipped. There's time and time again in the Bible where people who are just unlikely are called to the forefront and do great things when they are called by the Lord and when He equips them. And you can be, one of those too. He can equip you in mighty ways when you let Him. So as you work towards this challenge, you might want to consider what might get in the way. What could come up that could be challenging or derail you along the way? Maybe it's your mindset. Maybe if you're like a lot of the women that I work with, maybe it's focusing on what's not perfect, what's not going great, instead of what is going well. I know so many of us struggle with that. So, the thought here for you to help you overcome is the idea that what you focus on expands. What you focus on expands. So, let what you focus on be Jesus. Let it be His strength, and let it be the strength and the giftings that He's blessed you with. Let this focus be what propels you forward and drives you forward and equips you to do the hard thing. So, there you go, some powerful coaching questions to help you consider how you can use your strengths to navigate and overcome the tough stuff. So, I'd encourage you to think back to what we had just talked through and what jumped out to you in the biggest way. So, make a mental note of that. Maybe write it down, maybe put it on a post-it so that you can look at it at your desk or in your bathroom or wherever. And maybe it's an action step. Maybe put that right in your planner and commit to doing the thing. So there you go for today's episode. I have one other resource to share with you that you might love. And it gives you a little taste of what coaching is. It kind of it is like these podcasts, but different in the sense that it is a video. So it's a pre-recorded virtual mini workshop of sorts. So if you're feeling scattered, but you maybe want to make progress and you're feeling ambitious to make progress on what matters most, this is for you, friend. And how you can get to it is gracebasedchristiancoaching.com/mini workshop. So this workshop is going to help you to dig into the challenges that you're experiencing now. It's going to help you get clear on where you want to be instead. You're going to walk away with a strategy that you create for how to move forward. And we're going to kind of talk through how to proactively plan for obstacles that might come up along the way. So essentially, this mini workshop, it's just a great way to help you make some powerful progress fast and experience a taste of Christian coaching and just really get focused in less than 15 minutes. So it's a $30 value, but when you join the Grace-Based Christian Coaching email family, you get it as a complimentary bonus. And so again, if you're interested in that, you can grab it through gracebasedchristiancoaching.com/mini workshop. And then I have a simple encouragement series that's going to come to following that first mini workshop. So you can look out for that and we can get to know each other better through this encouragement series. And then you'll always get our exclusive, latest, and best content shared through the GSCC email family. So something that I don't know that we've really touched on yet in the podcast. So I wanted to make sure to let you know about that so that you can be in on that too. I'm sending you so much love and encouragement today as you think through how to use your strengths to overcome your obstacles and how to invite God into the process in a bigger way. He is so good, and I cannot wait to hear your success stories around this. Till next time. Thanks for tuning into this episode of the Fruitful Faith Women on Mission podcast. If you love this episode, I would love for you to subscribe. New episodes will automatically show up on your phone when you subscribe. It's super convenient and you'll make sure you never miss a thing. So excited to share more with you soon.